Good evening. It's Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. Welcome to the Town of Carmel Town Board Work Session. I call this meeting to order, and if everyone will please rise and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We just remain standing for a moment of silence for the people in Ukraine, our men and women in uniform, our healthcare workers. Thank you. So now let's open the floor to any town resident that would like to speak on agenda items. All right, so everyone received the minutes from the February 16th, 2022 meeting. Everyone should be reviewing those. Item number 1 is Lake Cassie Park District Advisory Committee. Consider request to approve and authorize distribution of the Lake Cassie newsletter spring 2022. They do a great job in Lake Cassie with this newsletter, packed with information. They let the people in the district know everything that's going on. It's really good. I can't remember how long we lived there, but we lived in Cassie for a little bit and used that park. It was great. So everyone agrees we're going to approve that.
Yes. Yep.
All right, the second item is recreation.
I'm sorry, just to interrupt. So just so the residents know, the mail-in and everything of this comes from that specific district only. It's not a
Thank you.
town
Yes.
thing, okay?
Right. It comes from the district funds. Exactly. Thank you. So Nina Kalmeyer, Senior Recreation Leader, Recreation and Parks, consider request to accept proposal for the Sycamore Park concessionary for 2022 season. Nina?
Good evening, board members. Thank you for having me. We wanted to come and we're seeking approval to have Liliana's Bagel and Catering. Yes. Sorry about that. Good evening, board members. So the Recreation Department is seeking approval to have Liliana's Bagel and Catering come and utilize our concession stand. The agreement, you should have that packet in front of you. They actually came last year. We had Bagelicious. They were our concessionaire for the past, I believe it was 5 years. And Liliana worked for Carmel Bagel, and she came to run the concession stand last year. So she was a great candidate. We did put out this bid. We advertised it. We sent it to over 20 vendors. And she was the only vendor that came and brought in the proposals. So we were looking to go with her for this 22, 23, and 24. Actually, I'm sorry, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So for those years, she will be paying the town $2,000 per year. And that is what we're looking for tonight.
Thank you. Anybody have questions?
No, she's familiar. Since she worked at the fire.
Yes.
She's familiar with the operations there.
Yep, she actually ran the operation at Sycamore Park last year, so she knows how we're looking to run it for camp, all the different policies, food that worked last year. So we think she's going to be great.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Great.
So we'll put that on for
Yes, no questions here.
Perfect.
great.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so item number 3, the Union Valley Cemetery, a not-for-profit. During COVID, they had gotten the permit, which expired. It's for 1 year, 2020, to expand the cemetery, the amount of plots. So because of COVID and nothing getting done, there's a request from the building inspector. They asked him if we would waive the fee in lieu of they had not been able to do any of the work. So I thought that was okay. You guys have?
that's
All right, so we'll put that on. Okay, so number 4,
And Union Valley Cemetery is a not-for-profit.
not-for-profit. Yep.
Correct, yes.
Mary Ann Maxwell, Town Controller, consider request to authorize budget revisions March 2022. Mary Ann?
Thank you. Good evening.
Evening.
So these are the budget revisions for the first quarter of 2022. Number 1, in the general fund, we're providing for the payout of accrued vacation time in the supervisor's office and the engineering department. These funds are coming from the comp absence fund balance, so they're not funded in the budget, but we do hold money aside to pay out vacation and sick time in the comp absence fund balance. Number 2, we're providing and transferring for staff compensation and benefit expense. In the assessor's office in 2022, there's 1 new full-time employee, and there was some staff new hires and transfers between the assessor's office and the accounting office. So we had to do some budget transfers. $42,000 is coming from the fund balance to fund mostly the new full-timer in the assessor's office. Number 3, we're recording encumbrances forward, increasing the budget per authorizing resolution. I went over this probably a month ago when we basically were transferring funds from the 21 budget and carrying forward to the 22 budget. So I'm not going to go through each line because I've gone through this before, but the total is $977,560. Number 4, we're providing and transferring for retirement incentive and payout of accrued time for 3 police officers. $150,000 is coming from the uniform pay line, so that basically, because we are saving money with paying out the retirees, we're transferring the payout, the $50,000 for each officer, from that line. The comp absence, the payout of the accrued time is coming from the comp absence fund balance. So the $255,316 is funding their accrued time, and the $150 is the payout of $50,000 for each officer. Number 5, we're providing for the purchase of police vehicles from revenue received from auction sales. We received $14,100 in auction sales last year. That money basically went into the fund balance, so we're pulling it back out of the fund balance to partially cover the cost of that police vehicle. Number 6, we're providing for mobile data terminal docking station for police vehicles. This is coming from a grant, $7,327, New York State SAM grant. On page 2, number 7, we're providing for police canine expenses. This is also coming from grant funding of $7,500. Number 8, we're providing for the purchase of a heating unit in the highway garage. This is coming from the equipment fund balance in the general fund, and that's $9,600. Number 10, in the recreation department, they are, I guess, putting new speakers in the Sycamore Park. So Jim has requested some transfers in his department to cover that cost. The cost is $5,000.
That's within the rec department budget.
Correct, it's within the recreation, yes, budget, so. Number 11, we're transferring for a musical festival, and that's $20,000, and that's coming from the contingent account. Number 12, we're also from the contingent account, we're transferring $5,800 for the downtown revitalization engineering expense. That's it in the general fund. In the highway fund, we're providing for a payout of accrued sick time of $2,230. That's for sick time that the highwaymen are able to cash out. So that again is coming from the comp absence fund balance. Also in the highway fund, we're providing for highway machinery capital expense, $110,000. We have set up a capital expense line, a capital fund balance, I should say, to cover cost for machineries. So we don't have to borrow anymore. Well, I can't say anymore, but hopefully.
Right.
So we can fund that out of that fund balance. In Carmel Water District number 7, we're providing and transferring for a pump replacement from an insurance claim and repair reserve. So $3575 is coming from an insurance claim, money we received from an insurance claim, and the additional $2,000 is coming from the repair reserve. On page 3, in Carmel Sewer District number 2, we're providing and transferring from microfiltration plant equipment from New York City DEP reimbursement and the repair reserve. This is for a piece of equipment in sewer district number 2, the microfiltration plant. 285,000 is coming from the revenue that we will receive. Actually, we did receive it. We received it this week. And then the other additional 21,000 is coming from the fund balance. In Carmel Sewer District Number 7, the same thing. We're providing for microfiltration plant equipment from New York City DEP reimbursement. 24,000 is coming from the revenue that we will request, and then 24,000 is coming from the fund balance. And the last one I wanted to mention is the Water District Consolidation Capital Fund for the water meter project. We're transferring $20,000 to cover water meter installations. And that's coming from within that capital fund balance, fund.
Thank you. Anybody?
Okay?
Thanks, thanks, Mayor.
Sorry, there's a lot of information to,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah. You're
Plenty of
welcome.
backup, too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So number 5 is Police Chief Anthony Hoffman. Consider request to authorize additional charges for the Carmel Police Department Marine Unit.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, members of the board.
Good evening, Chief.
I have 2 items for your consideration, the first being number 5, additions to our Marine Unit vessel. As the board recalls, we placed an order for a new boat for our Marine Unit to patrol Lake Mayapack at the end of last season. And Sergeant Michael Bodo, our Marine Unit Supervisor, has been keeping an eye on the project as it progresses. Recently, he came to me and brought up that there were 2 items that we initially were discussing, including with the boat, that weren't on the list of options. And they weren't, obviously, it's not a matter of us paying for them and them not being included. It was just lost in the shuffle. The first one being a raw water washdown pump, and the second one being a battery charger. The raw water washdown pump will give us the capability to actually wash down the boat with lake water instead of having to go to one of the marinas and do that. From what Sergeant Boda tells me, it would make operations a lot more efficient. And the second, the battery charger, is something that we already have on our old vessel, and it would be something that we would have to buy anyway to keep the battery charged in the off-season. So he recommends both of these items be added to the original cost of the boat. Unfortunately, since we already had a resolution, we're going to have to adjust that if so determined. The total cost of that would be $2,576.03. Because that's part of the boat, it'll be reimbursed at 50% by the New York State Department of Parks Marine Services grant. So the total cost to the town will be $1,288.02. So based upon Sergeant Boda's recommendation, I offer my recommendation to the board to amend the resolution of August 18th for the purchase of the patrol boat.
Are they still talking fall?
Yeah. The timeline we're looking at is we're probably just going to get it right at the end of the season. So,
Just in time to store it.
yeah. Well, hopefully, I mean, we did put a deposit down, and hopefully that will keep that timeline intact, and we don't experience any delays. And so far, they seem to be sticking to that.
Are they doing the striping? I don't remember.
They are, yeah, they're going to
Okay,
include
so
that.
it'll be ready, just need a radio and you'll be
Yes.
good to go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Chief, we're going to be starting with putting the floats and stuff in the lake pretty soon?
Yes, we have a Lake Committee meeting in a couple of weeks. We're
I think the second.
Sergeant, yeah, I believe it's the second. Sergeant Bodo and I will attend, and we'll start to figure that out.
Okay.
Good. I'm fine with that.
All right,
All right?
thank you.
Good idea.
So now on to number 6, consider requests to proceed with the purchase of license plate readers from the LPR grant.
Okay, yes, this is from a grant project that was started by you, Supervisor Kazari, when you were the police chief. You had applied for $50,000 in grant funding from the state of New York to provide license plate readers for the department. We recently received information, an approval from the New York State State Municipal Facilities Program, a SAM grant, that we are approved and we may move forward with purchasing and installing our required equipment. When you did apply for the grant, as most technology does, prices have come down. So we are able to purchase 4 complete units for our patrol vehicles, including computers with those license plate readers. The cost of each unit will be $11,722.32. The total amount of the project will be $46,889.28. We are looking at, since we do participate with the Westchester Putnam Real-Time Crime Center, free installation. Since we utilize their computer network, they install it for free for us. So that's a big savings on our end. So I would respectfully request the board approve that we proceed with the ordering the equipment for these vehicles and not to exceed $50,000. Beyond the 46,000 number, there is a small contingency amount in there in case we experience any sort of obstacles.
You're going to get modems, or you're leaving the modems in?
Everything will be included.
Oh, all right, good.
Yeah.
Chief, do we have any of these in service now?
We have, well, this particular setup, the vehicle setup, we have one. We have a number of fixed locations. We have one at Library Corners, one by Mayapack Village Center on 6, and then at Secor and 6N. And they've been very successful. We've solved a number of crimes.
Yes.
And we've also been able to assist other departments in the region with solving crimes.
So just so, ask a question. So if the reader, if a vehicle comes up with a hit, does the reader do anything else? Does it take pictures or anything like that?
It'll take a picture. Basically, it'll take a picture of the license plate, time, date, and location, GPS location, so we have that for court purposes later on. There'll be an automated notification. Usually that comes from the Westchester Putnam Real-Time Crime Center.
Okay.
They broadcast it over the radio back to us, and our officers proceed to, find and stop the vehicle.
Okay, so the picture is sort of similar to if you ever get in the mail, if you go through a toll. And
Exactly,
You get
yes.
the invoice in the mail.
Yep.
It looks like that.
Yeah,
I have
Okay.
no idea what you're referring to.
You don't pay your tolls?
yes, it's very similar to the Easy Pass.
Yeah, so
Toll
when
by
they
mail.
get installed, maybe some of the other board members would be interested too, but I'd like to just see how they work.
Absolutely.
It's just something that I'm interested in. One of the things I'm on a tear about lately is illegal dumping.
Yes.
And I just wanted to mention to just thank you and your officers for, your quick action with that matter a few weeks ago. It's really appreciated by me and I'm sure the rest of the board. So this is just something that I'm very interested in, especially to see if there's some way to kind of expand that program beyond that, where, when we have these instances of illegal dumping, if, we can find the perpetrators perhaps after the fact, but, to still, bring them to justice. It's a real pet peeve of mine, having been, raised in this town. It just really, really aggravates me when people use my town as a garbage pail. And so anyway, I'd like to see them when they're installed.
Absolutely.
So if I can just make a mental note for that, it would be appreciated.
Steve, you could stop in, the chief can show you live
Yes.
Yeah.
what they're doing. If it-
Yep.
just- He probably could show you on his phone right now, but we're in the middle of a meeting.
Yeah, well, I don't know if the Wi-Fi would be. That's,
After the fact is fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Steve, just to piggyback on what you were saying, we actually, Chief and I and a couple others, we actually do have a plan with regard to that illegal dumping in town. Since we
I would
started
love
that
to hear
last
it.
year.
Yes.
On Union Valley Road, there
Yeah.
were some other instances where, and we have developed some ideas with
Yeah.
some live cameras and fake cameras.
It's a great idea.
Around, and the chief has done some work and research on it, along with Mike Carnaza, the building department. So we are just looking to get that. The locations pretty
Great.
much, now that the spring is here, and we can see a lot of the stuff that's around now.
Yeah.
And obviously it coincides with our cleanup month,
Yeah.
or cleanup week a couple of weeks from now. So we are working on that, and of course, feel free to jump in
I
and
would.
with us on that.
Yeah.
But, you know, the chief and I and some others have been very diligent on that. Agreed. That's just like one of those, you know, broken windows type of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's my experience with this stuff, when somebody's watching, it doesn't happen. And just, you know, a brief story, I live down by Camp Kiwi, and Sandy Street has always been kind of a, you know, a quiet street, you know, next to the cemetery. And for years, we had illegal dumping there. And all of a sudden, the house went up, no more illegal dumping. Why? Because somebody's there, somebody's watching, you know? So so eyes are great. That's what we need, and we also need our residents to be alert for this stuff, right? And to obviously call and, you know, to catch people when they, you know, when they do this. So anyway, I don't mean to get off
Nope,
track.
not at
but
all.
Thank you.
All right. And if I just may, our community relations team asked me to pass along a couple of reminders for our events this weekend. One being the Shed the Meds event right here at Town Hall, Saturday, from 9 a.m. to noon. If anyone in the community has any sort of unused or expired prescriptions, we can drop them off and we'll dispose of them. And also, there is a free car seat check event. That is up in Kent on Route 52 at Parati Chiropractic from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will participate in that with the Sheriff's Office and Kent PD and the State Police. So if,
Chief, can you leave me a copy of those? I'll take a picture.
absolutely, yeah,
I'll
I
put them
emailed
out on
it to,
social media.
all right, I was going to email it to Ann Pasquarello and we could put it on the town website. And in addition, it's also on our Facebook page.
Okay.
So if anyone
Okay, great.
needs to check that out, but,
Great.
all right,
Yeah, thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
And-
Have a good night.
And we should mention that there is a box from Mike Simone's group in the lobby that someone can walk in whenever we're open and put their unused prescription drugs right here at Town Hall. Putnam Prevention Council, not Mike Simone's group. AKA Mike Simone's group.
Have a good night, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
So next up, number 7 is Richard Franzetti, PE, Town Engineer. Consider request to acknowledge emergency repairs service, Carmel Water Districts 1, 8, 10, and 13.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening, Rich.
On March 11th, so the memorandum is being presented to the board to advise of payments that were paid in excess of $10,000 for services that have been rendered in Carmel Water Districts 1, 8, 10, and 13. On March 11th, B&J reported a leak in the 6-inch raw water ductile line in the pump house. This right next to B&J's offices is the raw pump house. In addition, they noted that the iron fittings, bolts, and rods were starting to rot. The 6-inch pipe and fittings are located in the pump station vault and an area underground outside concrete wall under the parking lot prior to being fed to the filter plant. They are the primary feed to the raw water plant, and we needed to get them repaired. We needed to get concrete work. We needed to take the concrete out, expose the pipe under the parking lot, and then backfill with concrete in it to protect the pipes. John Astralago shows an invoice in the amount of $11,355.99 for John Astralago to do the excavation and repair of the work. Just so you know, the reason why it's 1, 8, 10, and 13, anything related to the water treatment plant, we call it the Carmel Water 8 plant, but it does service the Business District, Water District 8, Water District 10, and Rolling Greens, Water District 13. So there's an allocation based on the amount of flow, which is why the board has those numbers in there, the total being 11,355.88, 1,042.90 to Carmel District 1, 6,631.98 to Carmel Water 8, 2,210.52 to Carmel Water 10, and $1,450 to, and 48 cents to Carmel Water District 13.
Anybody? Questions?
Okay, here, had to get done,
So we'll put this on as a resolution then next week. So number 8 is Lake Mahopac Dam Engineering Assessment Next Phase.
So as the board, or some board members might be aware, or you will be aware now, right, we're under an order of consent. July 2020, we've been under a consent order to bring the Lake Mahopac Dam into compliance with state regulations. The town at that time engaged Schnabel Engineering to develop an engineering assessment of the Lake Mahopac Dam. The project consisted of performing hydraulic modeling, hydrologic modeling, inundation mapping, confirmation of the hazard class and spillway capacity, site surveys, geotechnical explorations, and development of remedial measures and preparation of the EA, the engineering assessment. This work has been completed and provided in the attached. The New York State DEC has accepted the conclusions or recommendations of the EA. The board should note that the part of the EA, the classification, the Lake Mayapack was lowered from a high hazard dam, Class C, to a intermediate hazard dam. That's a good thing. It's a Class B dam, so that means, you know, instead of having to do these EAs every 5 years, you now have to do them every 10 years. So that's a good thing. So the state, in their letter, indicated that we have 120 days after the EA is approved to submit a permit application, which would include specifications and bid specifications and drawings. We have asked Schnabel to develop a proposal to develop that necessary permit application, provide bid assistance and construction oversight, and they provided a proposal in the amount of $64,400. Per the town controller, there are insufficient funds for this work. The board would have to authorize additional funding through the bond resolution, and then there would be an estoppel period before any awards can be approved. The controller has already contacted the bond council to start the process for funding. Schnabel indicated that the time frame is insufficient for completion of this activity. Therefore, they had requested a 120-day extension to the due date in item 4, which would make the application due on October 28th, 2022. I had written this memo before I knew that we needed to do the bonding. Tomorrow, I'm submitting into the state a quarterly report. Obviously, it's due every quarter. I'm making the request for a 180-day extension to push it into next year, only because we now have to worry about getting the additional bonding for this work if we choose to go forward with Schnabel Engineering. So we recommend that it be given to Schnabel, as they've been working on it from the beginning, and they will be the most adept at getting it done in the shortest time period that we can look for. That's all I got.
Anybody?
Good here.
All right, so we'll put this on for voting meeting.
Rich, will this be the last cost associated with this project?
No. They're going to develop the bid specifications, and we're going to put that out to bid. So then we're going to have to do the bonding thing again, because we don't know what that's going to cost. And then, once that's done, the construction will be completed. So it'll be the final cost on the engineering side of it, but not on the actual remediation or the construction. The majority of the work that needs to be done there is the removal of trees and backfilling accordingly. We're going to get a better operation for the gate valve. Right now, it's kind of dangerous to get up there and work the gate valve. You kind of have to sit on it and turn it with a wrench. It's not very safe. So those are kind of the options that are out there for us to look at.
So that next phase for the remediation is obviously at least several months away before we'll have a cost for that.
Yes,
And the
sir.
reason I was asking is perhaps, it would be more prudent if we could possibly, instead of engaging bond council more than, multiple times, if we can just combine it all at once, but obviously it doesn't sound like we can.
Unfortunately, I wish we could do that, but, we're not going to just pull numbers out of a hat.
No,
So
I'm
in
not-
this particular case, and Mary Ann can confirm it, because it's consulting services or professional services, we don't have to go and do a public hearing, do a map plan and
No, no,
report,
I know.
but I got it. No.
Keep going.
However, when we have to do the GML and the bids for the packages, we have to put that under a map plan and report and do a whole bunch of work with that. So there's we don't know that number, so we can't come up with a map plan and report to actually get bonding for it.
Yeah, all right.
Is that correct? Did I hit it right?
You did.
She's taught me well. She's actually
And
beaten
Mary
me
Ann,
multiple
this
times
is-
on this.
This is a town-wide cost, correct?
I'm sorry?
This is a town-wide cost, not a.
No, it's a district cost
It's a district cost.
It's a
going
district
to which
cost.
district?
for
Lake District.
Lake Mayapack
Okay.
District, Park District.
So then the Lake Mayapack Park District then will be responsible for the bonding of this?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes, yes. Right now, there's a $100,000 ban outstanding, and that covered the Phase 1 of the engineering
Right.
assessment. So now this additional, I think it's $75,000.
65,
64.
Yeah, 64 is the cost of the engineering assessment. I think I had the bond resolution drafted, which you will be voting on next week. Just so you know, you do need a supermajority for a bond resolution, so you need 4 of the 5 to pass a bond resolution. So I think that's on the agenda, that will be on the agenda next week if the board is willing to move forward with that. So then, as Rich said, once the engineering assessment is done, they'll come up with more of a definite capital cost. And then we will have to have a public hearing, do a map plan and report, and then do additional borrowing for the for the construction costs.
All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann.
You're welcome.
That being said, the board may recall that we also had dam work being done at Lower and Upper Tea Kettle and Lake Cassie. Those reports are being finalized, so they've completed now. Phase 2 will be completed for them, and we're gonna be going out, to the next steps to develop bid packages to go with that and figure out what's going on, how we're gonna make those dams up to compliance. So all this kind of hit, those dams came first with the engineering assessments. They're all, well, the 2 of them are Class B, actually Lower Tea Kettle is a Class A dam, so you don't have to do EAs for them, but we already had started it, and it changed while we were in amidst all of it. So we're moving forward with that. So I'll be coming to the board soon enough with additional requests for those Lake Park districts to do that. And just one more thing, and I apologize, I'm going to jump in like Chief Hoffman did. We're doing work up in Water District 2, so the board is aware of that. We have 2 projects going on. The main lining is over in the Tower Road area. That's one company doing the relining in that area. Michael's is over at Lakeview Road and Old Route 6. They've been looking in those areas, so those projects are moving forward again. Tank project is on hold for this week, but they'll be moving forward. They're just waiting for really the equipment to come back in from the tank manufacturer, which, you can look up and try to grab a date. It all depends on when they get it to us, right? So, but we're on order, and they know that we're waiting for them. So that's where we're at. But if you go up to any of those sites, Water 14 or Everett Road, you'll see a beautiful round concrete structure, which is the base for what the tank is, and they're pretty impressive if you do go up there. So if anybody wants me to take you there, I will do that.
14 Hill Street?
Yes, it's actually, anybody who goes
Yeah, we saw the
over
pad.
over to Airport Park will
Yeah.
see it on the left going in and right going out, so.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank
sorry
you.
to take up so much time.
That's
Sorry.
okay, thank you, Rich.
So we'll put this for a resolution?
Yep,
All right.
agreed.
So Michael Simone, Highway Superintendent is 9 and 10. The first one, consider request to award bids for spring materials and supplies, sir.
Good evening, Board.
Evening, Mike.
As you're aware, I came to you, I guess, in February and got our bids out in March, and the bids have now been in and received. Looking at the memo, I have gone over, they were opened by the town clerk. I have reviewed them. I have made some comments on there because of supply chain issues and the fact that I've already been told that polypipe, again, is going to be in short supply. I am asking that the town board approve, even though they're not low bidder, multiple bidders, only because it's going to be a supply and demand issue. The numbers are not crazy and far off, but I think it's going to be where I can get, not what I can get, so. And that could be a problem, so. Moving ahead, you see what's in front of you and what I've put forth, and hopefully the town attorney can put this into a resolution, and we can have it done next week.
Mike, in light of the supply issue,
Yep.
I know you have ample space to order more, right? So could you order additional this year for next year? This way we don't run into...
It's hard to say. Again, and it's, again, we have highway, I have a 16-week, really. Window to
Right.
to operate. I mean, we could, the problem with polypipe, which we used, that if you leave it out in the sun exposed too long, it becomes brittle
Okay.
and can be break apart and will not go. It's where you want to kind of order it as you use it. Now, I do get ahead, I mean, I do order, 2 and 3 months supply when I can, if I've got my jobs laid out and everything works
No,
out.
I know you do that. I'm talking about for next...
Future,
for the
no,
kids,
I would
hard to
not,
do.
only because if it's going to sit out in the sun,
Yep.
it's
Okay.
not good, and
Gotcha.
so we're kind of at the mercy of suppliers and manufacturers right now.
All right.
I mean, I will give you an indication. Last year, I think April, I ordered 2 new international trucks. I'm told they might be built this month. They haven't
Built
even
this
started
month,
building.
meaning delivery to
No,
us? for-
delivery probably, I mean, this is only chassis. This is a cabin chassis. They still have to be outfitted with the snow plows, sander bodies, everything. Again, if they get built this month, I probably won't see them into my shop. And this is this is gonna be 2 years old almost, till probably September. I inquired about, and I will be coming to the board soon, to purchase trucks for this year, because I believe we should replace 2 every year to stay consistent, and we don't have to go for multiples. When I did inquire, and this was back in January, I asked if we could put an order in. They said, we're not taking any orders till April. So we called in April, and now they said, we will not be building any new trucks until 2023, April of 2023. So anything I put in now, still not going to have, it's going to be 2 years out, but I believe we should do it, and I will be coming in May and asking for not only my capital, but also equipment, stuff like that, and move on from there. But this is going to really put a damper on things we want to do in the town, just to let everybody know. We got plenty of workers to work, we just have to get supplies to do the things we need to do. And it also could increase, the longer we do not get new trucks, the more we have to repair the older trucks, and, you know, my repair line goes up, and it just, you know, you have to keep things working in an operation until they can't be fixed anymore. So.
Right.
Mike, just specific to paving,
Yep.
how many miles of roads do you expect realistically we're going to?
Well, I will tell you that, you know, the numbers came in, they came in about $4.50 a ton higher this year, but that's really for only labor and material, but because of the ties with petroleum, the state sends every month a fuel surcharge. As of right now, if I was to pave and accept the numbers that I have here, which is $4.50 higher than last year, I'd also have to include a $4.25 surcharge on top of that. So it's an $8, instead of almost $9 increase in blacktop.
So wait, I'm sorry, Mike, it's $4.25 surcharge per
Surcharge
ton?
for fuel, right,
Per
so-
per ton.
per ton. And we're now at a point where we've seen that gas has moved down slightly. More than likely, I'm going to pave July, August, September. I think we're going to be on the rise again, because I think the oil reserves are gone and everything. Again, I don't see it being a good picture. I do try, and I will get back to your question, I do try to do 8 to 10 miles a year.
8 to 10.
But it's all, I used to base my numbers on $152,000 a mile at a 2-inch overlay. I'm probably up to 175 or better right now, and it's going to go up. It's not going to come down, so it'll impact on how many miles I get done.
Mike, I'm wondering if maybe if you were to draft a letter that we would send out, or you would, or all of us would send out, and then in addition to your highway association to the state and saying, enough is enough, it's the taxpayers who are paying these surcharges as it is already. Let's eliminate that, at this point.
And what it is and it's not really, it's a surcharge, but what it is they take, when bids go out, they go at a dollar rate, which was probably figured out at, let's say, January, at what the rate was then. And what happens is, as costs escalate, it's not being paid to the state, it's being paid to the manufacturer. So I don't know, it's a pass-along of a fuel increase.
Okay.
It's not a tax.
Okay.
So, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I would like to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what effect, if the legislature puts in I guess they're trying to stop the fuel tax for a certain time
Yeah.
in New York State. I don't know what effect that would have on it. It has to reflect something, but this is really a pass-along off of what the fuel charge is.
Okay.
When I say fuel surcharge, it's what it was at the pump at the first of the year, and as it goes up in increments,
I got you.
they move it. So, I mean, I've been caught on the other side too when it comes down. We've been very happy and see the prices come down.
No, I
so.
know that, but-
Yeah. Mike, this supply chain impact, that's just not a regional like downstate kind of thing. That's
No.
statewide, you know, you,
All over.
I'm sure you
I'm
talk
hearing
to
all over.
people in
I mean,
the
again,
association.
I'm fortunate to sit on the New York State Board. New York State is quite impacted by it, but I'm hearing, I mean, all over. I mean, whether you go into Jersey, down into the, you know, the Washington area,
Got it.
big
Thank you.
contractors are, you're gonna see a lot of, you know, and I know we're pushing this infrastructure bill and all that stuff, but I'm gonna tell you what, there's gonna be a lot of delays, because there's not a lot of stuff you can get, so,
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
yep.
Jill, do you know, as far as the bid wise, is that, you know, make them reliable, they have the product? We can work around what the superintendent is asking?
Well, the bid is what's authorized at the time. But obviously, if there's escalating costs, then that would carry as well. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but,
He was looking to do a Chinese menu, it sounded like he was gonna
and
bounce around.
that's okay,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I was looking for.
And I
That's
was just
okay.
reading the resolution that Greg has already built that in,
There he goes.
yeah.
And
Thank you, Greg.
to give the board, I did do this last year. I usually, you know, we like to go to low bidder, but you do have to, you gotta have a little bit, and from what I
Flexibility.
believe what Greg said, exactly what you said. As long as it's authorized board to board, I'm up front, tell you exactly what's going on, it's okay, so.
Great. So number 10 is authorizing attendance to Highway School June 5th and 6th in Ithaca.
Yes, haven't had it in 2 years because of COVID. We're back on. Cornell Cooperative Extension is putting on their highway school. And this is my request to attend. Learn a lot, meet a lot of guys up there. Usually there's between 600 and 700 highway superintendents that attend this, and we learn a lot and how similar we are, whether it's upstate, downstate, and ways to do things. And not only that, I mean, Cornell does give us some great classes, but what we learn between the individuals is amazing, so.
Great. Ithaca is much nicer in June than January.
So everybody's good with
For
that,
sure.
too?
Yes.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
Superintendent
Thank you,
Simone.
Mike.
Okay.
So comments-wise, Putnam County is having a household hazardous waste disposal drop-off day. It's going to be up at Fawnstock Park, Canopus Beach parking lot up in the town of Kent off of Route 301. That's on April 30th from 9 a.m. to 12. April 30th, 9 a.m. to 12. Household hazardous waste, it's on the county's website, too. Like Councilman Lombardi said, we're having our cleanup week. That's April 18th through the 22nd. We've had a couple of groups contact us for supplies. That's next week. Yep. So if you want to sign up, you can do it through the Highway Department at 628-7474 or at the Supervisor's Office, that's 628-1500, extension 139. We, both groups have the orange bags. We have vests that we can loan you and the garbage pickers. And we're having our shred event. That is on Saturday, April 23rd at the Michael Geary Inline Memorial Rink parking lot. That's Route 6 across from the Mahopac Firehouse. That's going to be 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Only 3 file boxes each car. It's for residents of the town of Carmel only. No plastic, CDs, DVDs, X-rays, no hard drives, no 3-ring binders or binder clips, paper only, please. So we're closed Friday for Good Friday, so everybody, have a good Easter.
Yeah, I just have, wish everybody a very happy and blessed Easter and Passover. If you are going anywhere for Easter and you need to bring desserts, Girl Scout Troop 1806 of Mahopac is having their cookie sale
sales,
at Acme in Mahopac from 10 to 2 on Saturday. So I purchased, yet again, a few more boxes of Samoas, which they are my favorite. So between everybody, once I get them collected, there'll probably be about a dozen boxes in my freezer. But in all seriousness, it goes for, I met with them last week, the Girl Scouts, they were there. They're going to be there again this Saturday as well, from 10 to 2. So please stop by and say hello and help out our girls.
That's a great thing.
The only thing I just wanted to mention, I wanted to just offer condolences to the Mantobi family for the loss of their child. And I know I speak for the whole board in saying that. That's all I have.
Thank you.
So, motion to
Motion
adjourn?
to adjourn?
Seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, all right. Good night.
Good night, everybody. See you next week.